Hello. We have another opportunity to have a great discussion with an entrepreneur here at CES, someone who has driven a company to some level of success in the Wi-Fi business in a very unique way. Feldman is the CEO of wefi, and wefi is based in the Boston area with offices elsewhere in the country. wefi is a company that has secured a deal with Time Warner Cable that is probably going to put Time Warner Cable right on the cutting edge of making Wi-Fi a really, really useful and hopefully money-making service for the cable operators. And I'll stop there and ask Zur to tell us just exactly what your technology is doing.
So just to go back to our deal with Time Warner Cable, I think the nice thing about Time Warner Cable, they're kind of the upfront of the MSOs in deploying Wi-Fi aggressively. And they're looking in ways to help their customer extend their content sharing outside of the home. And in doing so, they deploy Wi-Fi in strategic area where they want to ensure that their customers out there have access to their content outside of the home, and also to allow them to have a very good experience using this content. So that's where wefi comes to play. We have a technology that allows to provide Wi-Fi visibility and actually show where customers spending most of their time, where they have challenges to connect to Wi-Fi, and help to connect them better to Wi-Fi, and help Time Warner monitor that process and enrich the Wi-Fi out according to the customer's deployment or the customer geographical spending. And that's what we do. So our software is actually a piece of software on the device itself that people can download. And also we have it connect to a huge database, which we are using to enrich the customer access.
And of course, that's the key to the whole thing. You've been sort of under the radar out there populating the world with the apps on clients for the last 5-6 years, right?
Right.
And so the idea has been to give just the consumer a better experience by helping them locate a good hotspot that's going to give them the best connection. But meanwhile, now all those clients are generating all this information about Wi-Fi footprints all over the world.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about what that database is collecting and how it can be used.
So we have about 150 million hotspots in our database, which is being collected by 8 million different devices around the world. As an example, in the US, we have over 50 million hotspots that we can show in different locations. And the nice thing about it, it allows people that were never spending time in a certain geographical location to go in and experience the connectivity like they've been there before, using the technology of crowdsourcing, which other people actually mapping the area for them, and they can take advantage of it. And we've been doing it since inception. We have patented this technology for a long time, and we collect information about connectivity in certain hours of the day, which kind of hotspot is more congested than others, what is the pattern of people usage of those specific locations, and we can make the decision when, according to the hours of the day, to switch people from one connectivity or from one point to the next.
You used a figure that is astonishing: 50 million hotspots in the United
US,
States.
yes.
That's one hotspot for every 6 people.
Yes.
It's just an amazing number. I never would have dreamed it.
And it's even more astonishing when you know that the largest network to date in the US is about 100,000 hotspot. So when you
There's
talk
a
about
lot of hotspot providers out there.
yeah, so there are a lot of different hotspots. Some of them are public, some of them are in different coffee shops and other when people are going and spending their time and they're connecting, and based on that we're collecting the information.
Uh-huh. So I can understand from the user standpoint how it'd be great to have all these choices and know which choice is the best. From a Time Warner or a big operator perspective, how does that work into what they're doing with their hotspots? Because obviously they want the user on their hotspot as much as possible. Are they willing to shift it off to somebody else if it's a better connection in a certain place? Is that part of the user experience that they're offering?
I think one of the concern of MSOs or others is they want to make sure that their customer really enjoy the best experience. And if they deploy Wi-Fi, they want to make sure that this Wi-Fi is being used properly. And sometimes they can see with our system that there is different hotspot that their own user using when their own hotspot is not being used because it's not in the right place. Or it's not being used because the signals are not good enough. So this allows them to give a picture and provide a tool and visibility to see how their customer in real time experiencing their content and what type of content is being consumed in a specific area.
So how much bandwidth is necessary? How much
Exactly.
density is going on? And of course, that's very important for planning your next hotspot.
Exactly.
So it's
so you, from one hand, you take care of the current experience. From the other, you make sure that you have a way to plan ahead of time what you would like to be or to give to your customers' experience.
Now, I would assume that this also has applications going forward in terms of an operator may want to cut deals with mobile suppliers for offload, for that kind of thing, and I suspect this technology would come into play.
Exactly.
There.
So, for example, one of the things that is being known now in the industry is that the MSOs created a federation of an agreement between themselves that customers will share their different hotspots in different geographical location. We have the ability to do it, knowing how to connect between different customers to different hotspots, even though it's Cablevision customers or it's maybe Time Warner customers, and to make sure that there is a way to monetize it and to ensure quality for different customer base.
Even more important, I suspect, would be a situation where, let's say, a Time Warner Cable has a deal with a particular mobile provider, that Time Warner is going to provide the good user experience for offloading that mobile provider, and therefore there needs to be a decision made. Which is the best connection? You're going to have all this LTE out there. You're going to have all this Wi-Fi. What's the best experience? Is that in?
That's exactly what we do. So it's not only across Wi-Fi. It's across the different technology: 3G, 4G, WiMAX. If you're talking about certain WiMAX still exist out there, so you need to make the decision where and when to connect to what technology, and we have the ability to do that.
So there gets to be some really interesting monetization power behind this. It goes beyond just a better user experience.
Right, so user experience, it's one thing, the quality aspect of it. The other very important element is how you monetize it or how you protect the providers that deploy Wi-Fi out there to give free Wi-Fi or to be able to monetize it to make sure that they can actually finance this, because it's a lot of money.
How would you characterize, you mentioned the people, the other operators in the cable Wi-Fi consortium, how are they looking at what you're offering at this point?
How they're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of their receptivity, are they interested in it? How would you characterize?
I think Wi-Fi become very important part of their strategy.
I mean your technology.
I think doing what we're doing with the Time Warner Cable kind of validate the technology and the kind of upward looking and the ingenuity behind what we do.
It's definitely opened some doors.
It's out, yes, it's out of the box thinking, and I think that it's definitely helping. And we have a commercial deployment already, so it's out in the market and it's proving itself every single day. And I think that this is it helps wefi, it helps the different operators.
It'll be interesting to see how this gets used and the impact that it has, but it's been great to learn about it. And thank you so much, Zor, for the time.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.